What's going on, gang? Welcome back to the channel. We're back talking a little bit of NHL Stanley Cup Final hockey. The Tampa Bay Lightning have a great chance here of closing out this series and sweeping the Montreal Canadiens. They're up 3-0. They're playing in Montreal tonight, so we're going to dig into a few of the player props that I'm feeling over on PrizePicks tonight. If this is your first time on the channel, definitely hit subscribe. Make sure that the notifications are turned on. The lines are constantly moving all day long on PrizePicks, so some of the player props that we talk about in today's video are subject to go up, go down, or somewhere in between. So definitely make sure that you're subscribed and notifications turned on. I'm going to set a like goal for just 30 likes. I know not everybody out there is a big hockey fan, but hey, maybe 30 likes is something we could do. So if this video brings you any value, if it's interesting, if you find any of it informational, hit the thumbs up button on that. It really helps me out. Now, one thing that I wanted to point out to you today is you might see this little spreadsheet over on the left-hand side. I'm doing something for free today. I created this spreadsheet myself. I did all the research, all the homework, all the digging into the data and the stats, and I put this together for you guys. Everyone out there can access this. Just go to the link down in the description of this video. I'll leave a link to it. It's a thing that I typically do for my patrons, people who support me for 20 bucks a month. You can become a patron, support the community. I like to give back to those who do support my work here on YouTube by putting together some helpful, useful spreadsheets. In this case, today's focus is NHL, but in the future, I'll be doing things like NFL, obviously, NBA, CSGO is something that I want to get more into. It seems to be very popular. So those are some things, some initiatives that I like to do to give back to those who support my work and what I'm doing here daily. So definitely check it out. I'll leave a link down in the description after we wrap up today's video. So let's go ahead and start talking about today's game. So we've got obviously the Tampa Bay Lightning at the Montreal Canadiens. The puck drops at 8 p.m. today over on PrizePicks. You can see by what we've got here on ESPN that Tampa Bay is just crushing the money line. Minus 155, 160, 165. So they're the favorites clearly to win and complete the sweep of the Montreal Canadiens tonight. Got a total of about 5 goals expected to be scored, with the Tampa Bay Lightning as 1.5 goal favorites. So that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the video, and we'll get into a few of the prop picks that I'm liking over on PrizePicks. Now, if you don't play on PrizePicks, now's a great time to try it out. They're doing a 100% instant deposit match on your first deposit. You can deposit anywhere from $20 up to $100. They're going to double your money for free. All you do is use promo code Curry to get this promotion, or use the link down in the description. I'll leave a description link for you down at the bottom of this video. So either way, promo code Curry, use the link. Either way, you'll get your money doubled over on PrizePicks. All right. So as you can see here on the spreadsheet, I went ahead and broke this up into 3 different categories. We've got shots on goal available, we've got saves available, and we've got goals allowed available. Now, PrizePicks also does fantasy points, but they use a proprietary fantasy scoring system, so it's not like DK, it's not like FD, it's not like any of the other sites that are already out there and established. They kind of use their own little formula for calculating fantasy score. So I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to go with stuff that's a little bit more easily researchable, things that I feel like give us a better advantage or better odds to potentially win some money on PrizePicks. So for this one, we're going to stick to shots on goal. And the first one that I want to talk about is Tyler Toffoli, or Tuffley, however you want to pronounce it. He's at 2.5 shots on goal. And like I said, I've already done the research and the homework. Basically, I used a combination of NHL.com. They got a pretty robust stats category over there. Hockey Reference is another one that you can go to get some of this information. And RotoWire, another one that's completely free where you can go and get projections, number fire like we've used in some of the past NBA videos. So there's a handful of sites out there that are totally free. It takes a little time, a little know-how, a little skill, but you can go out there and do your own research on any of these player props. But Tyler Toffoli at 2.5 shots on goal. You can see based on the research that I put together here, he's projected for 3+ shots on goal. But if you look at the Vegas line here on him, he is a 136 favorite to go under 2.5 shots on goal. And I'm guessing that a lot of that has to do with his 2.2 shots on goal average throughout the playoffs. Plus, in this series so far against the Tampa Bay Lightning, things get even worse here. He's averaging just 1.6 shots on goal versus Tampa Bay. So yes, I do expect Montreal to come out and put a ton of shots on goal. They have been doing that throughout this series, but Tyler Toffoli has not been the beneficiary of those increased shots on goal for the Montreal Canadiens. So I'm going to continue to ride this trend where he's been shooting less than 2 shots on goal throughout this series. I think it's going to be difficult for him to hit that 3 shots on goal mark tonight. So he is one that I'm going to go with the public here, Vegas that is, and ride this under at 2.5 shots on goal. Next guy I want to talk about is Brendan Gallagher, who is somebody who has been exceeding his averages for the regular season throughout the playoffs and things like that. So he is somebody that I'm looking to go over on these 2.5 shots on goal. So he is at 2.5 on PrizePicks. You can see his projection is at 3.1. So he's a healthy favorite to go over 2.5. All we need is 3 or more shots on goal. And according to the Vegas lines, the public are taking the over on this 2.5 shots on goal. He is a minus 125 to go over. Now, throughout the playoffs, he is averaging, funny enough, exactly 2.5 shots on goal, which would be a push, but we know that it's impossible to have a half of a shot on goal. So he's either going to go for 2 or he's going to go for 3. But the good news for us is that in this series so far, he is averaging 3 shots on goal. And that's over the course of obviously 3 games so far in this series. So 3 shots on goal in the 3 games that we have here against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So that is a play that I'm looking to definitely go over on. So we've got the under on Toffoli, we've got the over on Gallagher. Now we're going to need one play from the Tampa Bay Lightning side. And in case you haven't picked up on this, I think that the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to win, but I think there's going to be a flurry of shots from the Canadian side. So we're going to go over to the saves section where we've got Andrei Vasilevskiy at 28.5 saves. I think this is a little bit too low. I know the projections that I pulled here have him at 27.8 projected saves tonight, which, you know, is in the neighborhood of 28.5. If this number was down at like 25, I'd be a little bit worried, but we're right around 28 to 29 saves tonight. So I feel okay about, you know, kind of fading the projections here and sticking with the averages in this case. Now, one thing to point out is that for saves, we don't have any Vegas lines. We don't have anything where we can kind of reference what the public's doing, how they're betting, how they're placing their money over on any of the various sports books. So we can't do that for saves, unfortunately, but we will kind of lean on these averages. Now, if you see throughout the playoffs, he has averaged 29.2 saves per game, which would put him over 28.5. So this is a good reason why I'm liking the over on the 28.5 today. Now, throughout this series, the number gets even bigger here for Vasilevskiy. He's averaging over 30 saves per game throughout the series against the Montreal Canadiens in that 3-game sample size. So again, this puts him well over 28.5. I think Montreal's definitely going to have their pedal to the metal, their foot on the gas, no brakes in this one. So I'm expecting a ton of shots on goal for the Canadiens. And I do think that this is a good spot to take the over on Vasilevskiy. So if we take Vasilevskiy at 28.5 saves, we go back, we add Toffoli, we add Gallagher. Now we've got ourselves a nice little 3-pick here. Obviously, again, we would be taking the over on Vasilevskiy, the under on Toffoli, and the over on Gallagher. And there you have it. You got a little 3-pick parlay. You can flex this. You can power this. Whatever you feel more comfortable with, you've got different options on how you can play this here. But definitely, guys, if you're not liking any of the picks that I picked out in today's video, I've got all this information in this spreadsheet. You can come up with your own conclusions, draw up your own plays to enter into your PrizePicks entries tonight. So again, I'll leave a link down in the description to the Patreon where you could go find this post. It's readily available for you to do a little bit more research and digging through these numbers. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. My name's CJ. I appreciate you guys subscribing, liking, and we'll catch you in a future video. We've got some NBA action coming up tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that video. Good luck tonight. Peace out.